Neil Costa, head teacher at Pemberley Academy. What was Friday like at your school?
It was potentially the most challenging day I think I've ever had, and I'm sure colleagues of mine at other schools would say exactly the same. Trying to, my day started at 4 a.m, trying to decipher exactly what the school closures would mean, who would need our support and what direction we needed to actually take the whole thing in. Took an awful lot of manpower, so it was a very very stressful day, but I think that's something which is shared by an awful lot of services at the moment, but hopefully come Monday it will start to decompress a little bit.
So are you able to say to your year sixes, you're not coming back, that's the end of your primary school education?
I think no is the answer to that. We are still working on the principle that unless told otherwise, we're going to have a situation whereby the children do return. I think there's probably a lot of speculation about time frames, and I personally, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't put a chronological position on that, but there was a sense, certainly for the year sixes, for all the children, that it was the end of term, it was the end of the school year, and we had parents bringing in gifts for some of my staff, as you would do. So I think that there definitely is that narrative about it, although hopefully these things will be handled and we're all able to reconvene before the summer holiday in July.
So as head teacher now, say from Monday, what's your communication with your staff, or if any?
So I want to be very very clear, Michael, that schools are still very much open, and it's very important that the public remember that. At my school and colleagues in schools all around the town and indeed the country would have worked tirelessly on Thursday and Friday to make sure that their most vulnerable children and the key workers whom were on the DFE list were catered for. In terms of my staffing position, and obviously every school will be different, we are going to have around about 20% of our school population in. So I have groups of staff who are rotated on a daily basis, because we're trying to get a balance right between making sure that the children are catered for, but also the staff, because we need to remember at the centre of all this is a public health issue, and making sure that the staff are safe and well and socially distancing themselves while they can. Other schools may obviously need to adopt a different approach because they will have larger groups of children in, but we will be talking to staff both in person and then via other communications as the whole thing goes on.
Well, what about the year six pupils who still have SATs, I guess, in theory?
And I don't think they do, Michael.
Right.
I think that the government has made it quite clear, certainly communications that I've seen from the DFE, that all year six and year two SATs and other associated assessment, just like GCSEs and A levels, have been cancelled. So we've provided work as all schools would have done, so there will be constantly work which goes onto our website which families and children can update, and we will look to sort of outreach, maybe some teaching videos and other such applications. But in terms of formally preparing the children, I think that point has passed.
This kind of been easy for you as a head teacher, because this is completely new for you, isn't it? For all of us.
Absolutely. I think the term unprecedented has been used an awful lot last few days and certainly last few weeks, and I don't think it's anything but. The most difficult thing I think for me was the management of which children you can have in and which children you can't, and every head teacher would probably say something similar, because the school that I'm head teacher at, we're very close to the hospital, so we have a huge number of key workers, frontline key workers, medical personnel, doctors, nurses, surgeons, etc. But whilst trying to actually manage an expectation on us that we won't be bringing in more than about 10% of our school population, because again it's a health emergency. So that's been the trickiest thing. But there's I think the rule book to a certain extent has to go out the window, and there needs to be adaptations, and I think people need to appreciate just how difficult it has been for every single head teacher in every single school.
Yeah, Costa, thank you.